Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success on this amazing Friday. Today's Friday, one of our favorite days for 1,000 reasons, one of which is today we get to talk about family and relationships right here on Fuel for Success to give you fuel, to give you insight, to give you guidance, to tell you about all the mistakes that we've made so you don't make
all of them
mistakes. Yeah, which is why we do it.
Many mistakes. Mike, dude, I want you to know that I am committed to this show because it's cold. I'm in Michigan right now, Al. And, dude, it's raining, it's cold, and I had to do the show outside because I don't want to wake everybody up inside. So, like, I'm at a new level of commitment to the show. Like, when I say it's cold, I'm like, and it's rainy. You know what I'm saying? I think we should do a whole show in the snow this year, Mike. I'm talking like out in the snow, short sleeves, everything, all 30 minutes.
I'll do it. No problem.
I know you will.
You're going to have to come up.
Me, not so much. Mike, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Actually, I saw the strangest thing just a few minutes ago. I'm driving from bringing Danny to school, and I drive over the Vermilion River right here in Hastings. It's sort of a backwoods area. I look off to my left, and about 300 yards off the road, like kind of back in the woods, there's a slough area. I was looking for ducks is what I was doing. There's like 20 people standing in a circle in the middle of the river.
Like standing in the river?
Standing in the river. And I'm like, you don't just step into the river in October in Minnesota. I mean, you got to be prepared. You got to have waders and the whole bit. So there's like 20 people standing in a circle at 7:45 in the morning. I'm like, what is this?
Do you know why they were doing it?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm gonna kind of share something today because this is family and relationship. This is Fuel for Success, which by definition means it's our show.
Right.
So because Mike and I feel like it's our show and we own it, we pretty much feel like we can share anything we want to share. Today is family and relationships. Last night I was talking to a fellow single gentleman, and he was getting some tips and some advice about dating and about all this. And I said, you know something? And I know that what I'm about to say is extremely risky, but I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm about to say. I said to him, dude, you want to be happy? Go get a foreign lady. Don't do anything with these American girls because it appears to me that most, not all, so none of you girls start slashing me and putting me in Al category right now. It appears that most American ladies are stubborn, brash, harsh, and really don't know how to treat men. They're selfish. And listen, don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. Bam, I know I'm in L category. I've traveled around the world. It appears to me. Now this is advice I was given to someone that doesn't have much confidence. Like he's an awesome guy, but he doesn't have a lot of confidence. And I said, man, go get a lady from overseas. She will treat you like a king, man. So it's up for discussion. Mike, what's your thoughts on this, my friend?
I don't have any thoughts on this.
That's so smart.
I think my mom's calling me.
This is a moment where, Mike, you're supposed to, disconnect me and save me. Like, oh, no, I'm not going to let that go down.
What happened to Matt's protection? It must be the wind and the cold.
No, I mean, listen, believe it or not, as much as it's, risky to talk about this, and again, I don't believe in generalizations. It's like right. Some people say that all men are jerks. No, not all men are jerks. Not all men are perverts. Not all men are selfish. Just like not all American girls are that way. But I'm telling you, predominantly, I don't know if it's the spirit of our country. Well, there's two girls standing over here. I don't know if it's the spirit of our country, but it appears to me that a lot of American girls have forgotten how to treat a man.
I think you should.
And of course, that can go vice versa as well. We live
we live in a society where our popular culture, especially, I mean, if and I don't watch TV, but if you look at TV shows and things in popular culture today, there's a stupidification of men, right? And you know, as a especially as sort of a middle class white American male that's married, you know, in popular culture, I'm like the epitome of the idiot, right? I'm like the lowest class citizen in America. I'm the one that everybody gets picks on, and there's an elevation of things that aren't, you know, the way that relationships are supposed to be.
Let me clarify. Meaning, I have personally watched wives and girlfriends treat incredible guys like this. Like they don't know how to really treat a man. The way, I don't know if it's a new day. Like my great grandma, like I'm going to my great grandfather's funeral this week. She treated him like a king. Even like you know, Mom Haney. I've been around her and Bishop Haney. You know, I'm talking about like the older generation. Listen, those men worked long hours. And these ladies treated, like the way that I watched Mom Haney treat Bishop, I mean, it was like, you know, it's a new day, Mike. I don't know if it's the way we're training girls, you know. I don't know if it's the feminist movement. I know I'm extremely way out there in the middle of the ocean right now with no lifeguard. Just nobody misunderstand where I'm coming from. But it appears to me in some other cultures and other countries that they seem to treat ladies, their men, a whole lot better. And I know that goes both ways. Trust me, I know that. But I'm actually talking about good guys. I'm talking about guys that are like hard workers. They're faithful. And I mean, I literally have, I've got friends that, you know. Anyways, Mike, what's the next question?
Listen, well, let me just add some personal experience to this, because I think people may initially hear what you're saying and think, well, yes, if you go to an underdeveloped, you know, or a second world country or something like that, maybe because they're less cultured or less civilized, you know, that's what sort of the feminist standpoint would be. But my experience, you know, I was in England for about 2 weeks in Great Britain on the island in the southern part of the country. And all of the ladies there were extremely respectful. It was completely different. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they treated me just as a man, and not you know, as my
Philippines, Thailand, dude, they're so graceful and so humble. Like you said, not even if it's your girlfriend or your wife. I'm talking about as a man in general.
Yeah.
They are so graceful and humble. Like, I literally in this country have opened doors for ladies, and they literally walk through the other door.
Yeah.
And I'll like race into, you know how there's always an in-between, like if you go into Dillard's, there's like a set of doors and another set of doors? I like think, oh, they didn't see it, so I'll like hurry up and go open the second door, right? And they like purposely go through the other door. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you serious? Like, are you really like that much of a man hater that you can't let a gentleman open the door for you?
Right, right.
Let's get into some practical stuff about relationships, Mike. I just wanted to give that for some food for thought. And listen, you know what? Listen, everybody should evaluate. I think men should evaluate, but I think ladies should evaluate too. I think a lot of ladies in this country need to be careful that they don't allow this spirit or the spirit of our country that you're respectful to men, even if men have hurt you, even if your dad hurt you, if you were in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I still think that you should study and learn how to treat a man like a man, because a man is still a man, just like a man should know how to treat a lady like a lady. It totally goes both ways. It totally goes both ways.
Yeah, because if you're a guy and a lady's walking up to the door, hold the door.
Hold the door. You know, like, I never let my son walk off an elevator if there's a lady on it. Like, you always wait. Like, you know what? We need more training to our young boys about how to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
And we need more training to our young ladies about how to be a lady and how to be graceful and how to treat a man like a man. The right lady can make a man feel like a man. You hear me?
Yeah.
The wrong lady can make a man feel like this.
That's the truth. I'm actually just sitting here
Anyways,
convicted. I need to open the car door for my wife. Why don't I do that? Why don't I do that, Matt?
no, you're in punishment.
Ah,
Mike, you're a great, great husband. I mean, a great husband.
Al says I'm a pig. That's right, Al, I'm a pig. What's wrong with me?
Listen, dude, don't, man law, bro. Don't come over and start slashing us. We're the ones that's had your back, bro, when they all attack you, man. Me and Mike protect you in this show.
Give you a copy of the code after the show, Al. Come on, buddy. Hey,
Come on now.
so here's a great question to follow up on that. You want to talk about lead into a question. Why do people get defensive and take things personal? Here's a great example. I mean, you could state something true like this, and
Yes.
and ladies that are watching this that aren't like that, right? You're not talking to them specifically, but someone could take it personal.
A generalization. It's not a generalization. I'm just saying it appears to me that ladies in other countries treat their men better than American ladies treat their men. Okay? That was my feeling. But having said that, this question is good because what are you asking? How do we not, why are people so defensive?
Yeah. Why do people take things personally and get defensive?
I think because, Mike, a lot of people are not emotionally healthy. I think that people that are defensive, okay, the first sign that someone is not emotionally healthy is that they are defensive. The sign of an emotionally healthy person is that they're in control of their emotions, that you can talk, you can have rational, logical conversations with them. You can have candor conversations with them. You can actually share something that would come across defensive. It's truthful. It's brutal. It's what they call the ugly truth, right? And a healthy person, emotionally and mentally, can rationally listen to it, even if they don't agree with it, and even take a look at it and say, you know what, I don't agree with that, but I never thought of it that way. Give me more information, But I think one of the reasons people are defensive too, Mike, is because they've been hurt. And of course it's emotionally unhealthy, but one of the number one reasons why people are defensive and take things so personal is because they've been hurt, or they've been hurt deep in those areas. So just be conscious of that. That's why I think everybody needs to go through emotional healing. I think everybody needs to grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially before you get into relationships. Because there's nothing worse than two emotionally codependent people getting into a relationship, or two emotionally unhealthy people. And being defensive and short with people and taking things so personal is a lot of reason because someone is insecure, they're hurt, and they just downright have a bad attitude is one of the reasons.
Sure.
One of the reasons is they just straight up have a bad attitude.
Hey,
any thoughts on that, Mr. Mike?
Well, let me ask you this kind of follow-up question to that, because some of our viewers, Al and Tommy, both feel like that when what you're saying applies to a person, then it maybe stings a little more, and that's why they take it personal and get defensive. Do you think that's always the case?
Are you asking me? Say
Yeah.
that one more time.
Yeah. So Tommy and Al were saying that sometimes there's a little bit of truth in what you're saying, so maybe it stings a little bit more to the person, and so they take it personally, get defensive because they feel like it applies. Do you think that's always the case, or is that?
No, it is sometimes. I don't think it is always, but I think it is. I think Al and Tommy got a good point, and I think that is the case sometimes, but definitely not all the time, in my opinion. What about you?
I don't think it's always the case either. I think that sometimes yes, other times people just some people are like naturally defensive about everything. Because here's the reality. I mean, take social media for example, right? You can post something on social media just like that you didn't have any nefarious purpose, you didn't have anyone in mind, and then someone will get extremely defensive, like I can't believe you called me out and blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, right, okay, so
I know.
No.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Like you'll post something and your closest friends and family will be like, I feel so hurt right now. And then they'll like pull away from you. You're like 2-3 days you're trying to text, no text back, right? And then finally after like 3 days, when they come out of there like, you know, whatever, they're like, you just really hurt me with what you put on Facebook. I'm like, what I put? That wasn't for you. I was thinking about, you know, an experience I had in like Mississippi or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you post something on Facebook and you get a text like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Like, yeah, I ran out of granola. That's what the text was about, or the post. Sorry, what was that clear?
I ran out of granola. Mike, I know. So next time you see one of Mike's posts and you think he's hurting, he just ran out of granola, folks.
Ran out of granola. He's going to be okay.
No, and you're right, Mike. We read into stuff way too much.
Yeah, so that's good. So anyways, yeah, I don't think that it's always because it applies. Sometimes people are just defensive. You know, and we've said it on the show before. Just let this get buried in your head. People are not against you. They're just for themselves. Okay?
Yes.
So people will be talking about things. They're not pointing it at you. 99% of the time, you're not even in their head. They're in their head.
You ready for this? It's like they said. In my 20s, I worried sick what people were thinking about me. In my 40s, I didn't care what they were thinking about me. In my 60s, I realized they weren't thinking about me. In other words, the people that you think, I know we all love to think that the whole world's against us, but most of these people haven't even thought of you in a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's a great...
We're the best at putting our own, telling ourselves all these false fantasy stories, man.
Yeah. I like what Tommy's sharing. He posted a picture of a Ferrari Formula One logo because he's a fan, you know, of the brand, and his family thought he was going through a midlife crisis.
Exactly, Tommy. Exactly. Good point.
You, is your marriage okay? What, are you going to be all right? No, I like the car. Dial it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I have this extremely beautiful cousin, flesh and blood cousin, blonde, gorgeous. She was in a picture with a couple of her friends, and I liked on it. Someone's like, you know, you shouldn't like on them really hot-looking blondes pictures. I'm like, that's my cousin, you sicko. That's like my cousin. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what, I can't like on my cousin's picture now because someone's going to think that I'm some kind of whatever? It's just fun. It's fun to me. Guess what? I don't take it personal. I'm over it in a millisecond.
Hey.
I get over stuff in a millisecond, my friend.
One of the secrets to life is to laugh easily and find humor in these ridiculous scenarios and situations. I had a guy, actually, you know, it's easy to get offended and like take things personally. I just laugh at it. I'm like, people are crazy, right? And
I'll give you a perfect analogy. Perfect analogy. Yesterday when I was getting on my plane last night, listen to this. True story. There was a lady in 3B and a lady in 2B was open, which both of them were window seats. So listen to me. The lady that accidentally the lady was right in front of me, right? And her seat was 3B. The lady was sitting in 3B, and she goes, "You're in my seat." And she, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like literally, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," you know. Her seat, the lady who was in the lady seat, okay, the mean lady, let's say it, put it this way. Innocent lady in seat 3B, right?
Yeah.
Was sitting in the mean, pranky lady seat of 3B. But her seat was 2B, one seat forward. And she was like, you know what? She goes, literally, she goes, well, you know what? You can just have my seat. She didn't have to move across all these people. She's like, you can just have my seat right there because it's one seat forward.
Yeah.
Same exact seat. She rolled her eyes. She goes, and so looks at these other two ladies. This was funny, dude. I was loving this. I was in this moment. I was like smiling. I'm like, this is getting intense, man. I was like, she looks at these other two ladies and she goes, are you guys going to move? Literally says this. And the lady in the middle seat turns around. No, she looks at me and she goes like this. And I was like, I know. I was like, wow. I was like, this is intense, you know. So then she turns around to the lady behind. She goes, I would actually prefer you to come up to your seat. So I got this whole she's like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I really want you at this seat. And so, anyway, so the lady comes forward into 2B, where she was supposed to be one seat forward. And there was like this sigh of relief from the other two ladies that would have had to sit by the cranky lady. I looked at the ladies, I go, that was a good choice. And everybody around the whole plane, as I walked by, they were like, right? So think about it. You could feel the body language. So listen, I don't care what's happening in your day. There's no reason to flip out over one seat, my friend. That is the exact same seat. I'm going to my grandpa's funeral. Don't tell me you got problems. I'm going to my grandpa's funeral, my friends. And I'm not going to flip out over that. Just no excuses. But anyways, I forgot why I was telling you that. Do you remember?
I think have a sense of humor about things. And Hannah's pretty sure the white lady was from Canada. Probably. Did she say sorry?
Sorry. Yeah, she was a good lady. They were all nice. Everybody was nice. Everybody was nice but this lady. And she just looked like, whoa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had it happen twice yesterday. Maybe that's why I woke up subconsciously thinking about foreign ladies. I don't know. Maybe that's why I gave this advice last night. Because when I was in line at the airport, I heard a lady going off on the guy that was doing the ticket. Right? The guy that works for the airline company. She was ripping him about, I can't believe you're going to make me take stuff out of my bag because the bag was over 50 pounds, right? Like, friends, what? I mean, if your bag's over 50 pounds, of course, that's happened to us, right, Mike? So, Mission 25.
All that shampoo was for the yeah.
She goes, oh, no worries. She goes, I mean, out loud screams it. She goes, oh, no worries. She goes, you'll just be talking to Channel 9. She goes, and I will be flying Southwest from now on. And I'm like, I thought to myself, I'm glad I don't have this job because there's no way I could keep myself from laughing. Because I would find that funny. Like a girl like saying, I'm calling Channel 9. No worries. You'll be on Channel 9 about this. Like really? Imagine calling Channel 9. Yeah, I was at the airport today and they made me take my stuff out of my bag because it was more than 50 pounds. Right? Right? Can you imagine? And then now Southwest has just won another customer because Southwest doesn't have that rule, right?
Yeah, they do. Well, you can fly with 2 bags. You can use two bags free.
Yeah. I just got a kick, Mike. I had this experience yesterday of spaz people. You know, it made me like, I was nervous on the plane. I was like, you know, am I safe? Are you safe anywhere anymore? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, tell us what our next question is, Mike.
Was this in the Tampa airport? Did all this happen in Tampa? Or was it some other airport? Just wondered.
Actually, yeah. It happened actually at the St. Pete Clearwater Airport, which is a smaller airport. Yeah, it did now that I think about it.
Maybe because of all the rain that's been down there. You know, it affects people mentally. The weather does.
I can see that. Believe me.
I'm going to get to my next question in just a second, but I just got a Snapchat from my brother, and I do not want to see it because he's duck hunting this morning, and it's 45 degrees with a north wind. So I don't even want to see it. I'm not going to look.
I want to see it. Me and Mike are Snapchatters. Isn't that ironic that, you know, does it feel weird that we Snapchat? You should see some of our Snapchats. They're hilarious. It's definitely Carol's.
Yeah, I almost always draw a little goatee. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Could you imagine Mike with a goatee? That'd be funny.
I'm going to get one of those stick-on ones like that homeless girl had in Seattle. I'm going to get a little stick-on mustache for next show. It'd be funny. Because if I had one, it would totally be down like this. I would have one of those. What about you, Matt? If you had facial hair, what would you do?
Actually, I go through moments where I want a 5 o'clock shadow, you know, where I just kind of want that cool look of, you know, I couldn't do the full beard. That wouldn't be me.
No.
But I could roll with a little 5 o'clock shadow. What do you guys think? Mike, what do you feel? I couldn't do the circle. I couldn't do the circle.
No.
You know how people do the all the way around circle? I couldn't do the goatee, but I feel like I could bust out a little 5 o'clock shadow going on here, my friend.
Yeah.
You?
You know, I'd probably go with the big cowboy mustache down here like this. That's what I would do.
You probably would. Mike, I'm ashamed. We're supposed to be helping people's relationships.
What's wrong with me? I'm totally going off on it. I'm trying to figure out what Carol's doing because I just heard her scream laughing from the other room. So I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, it's just a couple texts she sent me. It's all good.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something on the show. Hey, what do we got? 5 minutes here? Where do we go from here? Hey, by the way, anyone who's watching live, of course, you can ask questions, even if it doesn't pertain to facial hair or strange circles in the river. But or you can email them in, mike@mattmaddox.com, or text them to us, 727-341-5599. By the way, if you haven't checked out Matt's new website, mattmaddox.com,
check it.
I'm done talking to you if you haven't looked at it yet. Totally done.
Yeah, you're out. You're out of this show.
I'm personally hurt if you haven't seen it. Personally, just so you know. There's me getting it personal and being defensive. There you go. No, just kidding.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. Check it out, though. It's pretty cool. Hey, let me ask you a question. This is one that came in about being vulnerable with your feelings, about your feelings with people that you're close to. And, of course, you know, all of your friends and family and relatives and everything have different levels of closeness. We've talked about an inner circle before. But how vulnerable do you think a person should be about their feelings with those that are close to them?
Well, it depends on the relationship. Like husband and wife, I mean, extremely vulnerable and open and completely just transparent, right? It depends on the relationship, but I will say this real quick. You cannot have good, meaningful, deep relationships without vulnerability. These people that guard their feelings and never share their truth or their real feelings, right? And they never open up. You cannot have tight relationships if you're not vulnerable or open. Having said that, you need to exercise some caution. Can this person be trusted with your feelings? In other words, if you're vulnerable and you share a weakness or you share a fear or you share a feeling, A, are they going to be defensive? B, are they going to blab it to everybody in town? You know, can they handle your humanity? Like, listen, I'm not extremely open with a lot of people. I'm not. Mike can tell you, Carol can tell you.
Right.
But the moment I know I can trust somebody, and the moment I feel like I'm safe with them, and the moment I'm okay with not everybody can handle each other's humanity. I mean, I'm mesmerized by the fact that every human being is a human being. We're all human. We all have weaknesses. All of us. We all have struggles. We all get tempted. We all have fears. We all have weak times where we're low. People asked me the other day, yesterday, are you always this positive? I'm like, yes! I sure am. No, I mean, of course I am. Do I have moments where I'm not? Yes. But I definitely think you should practice more vulnerability. I think if you're the kind of person that doesn't share your feelings, I think you need to practice sharing them more. It's good for you. It's actually unhealthy to hold in your feelings. You need to share. Your friends need it. Like, your relationships need you to be vulnerable. Your spouse needs it. Hey, one of the number one complaints of ladies is that their husbands don't open up. They just close up. They get quiet. They pull away. And a lot of that's a whole nother subject that I can give you my opinion on why men do that and what ladies can do in those situations besides continuously like hounding them, give them their space. We'll talk about that on another show. I just give you a little bit to keep you alive there. But men especially have a hard time with vulnerability because we're men, right? We're tough. We don't like to reveal our weaknesses or, how many men do you know are going to just say, I'm feeling sad today. I mean, it's not like I'm going to call Mike and say, bud, I'm feeling kind of lonely. It's just not going to happen.
I feel like, saddle up.
It's like,
come on.
What's Mike going to do? He's like, grab a gun, dude. Let's go hunt. Like, come on. Don't ever. Mike would be like, don't ever call me. Don't you ever call me and tell me you're feeling lonely. Am I understood? Saddle up. Go rub your hand in the ground. Man up. It's one of those things, though, where you have to be vulnerable. You have to be honest about your feelings. You have to be real. One thing that people can say about me at the end of the day that I know, I got a lot of weaknesses. The people that are closest to me admire one thing, is that I am straight up real. Straight up. I'm honest, I'm brutal, I'm real. What you see is what you get. Mike, what about you, man? Tell us your feelings, buddy.
Oh, I actually take all my feelings and ball them up and push them way down until they become a. No, I'm just kidding.
So you gotta hear Carol. We gotta get Carol on the show one day and give her your rendition of the day that you finally explode.
You know,
I laid on the floor when she did that. I literally went to my knees. It was so funny. I'm hurting still right here because it was so funny, man. Anyways, I don't know if we could even do that on Fuel for Success, could we?
Probably not. You know, I think that you're never able to connect at a level deeper than you're able to expose yourself, basically, and your own feelings and your own humanity. And one of the things, you know, as a longtime introvert, you know, and my wife is a total counterbalance to me in that respect. One of the things I've learned from Carol is able to disarm anyone and connect almost instantly. And one of the reasons she does is because she's completely open. She's like just an open book. It's like, here's how I feel. She's very real. She's not afraid to admit her humanity, right? I'm like, and you know, me, I'm a little more reserved, a little more laid back. It's hard for me to do that. So it takes a little more time. But one of the things that I've learned in connecting with people, and of course in the stuff that Matt and I do, and a lot of you as well, you know, we one of the things that, you know, kind of our deal is to connect with strangers. And when I'm connecting with people that I don't know, one of the quickest ways to disarm someone else's defenses is to like admit faults. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Just like, you know, admit the reality of your life. Like, I'm not perfect, you know. Getting in a conversation with someone to get to finance and talk about, you know, how I lost a house to foreclosure, for example. I mean, people are disarmed by that. They're like, oh, well, you're just a real person. You're not, you know, because
it actually makes people feel more safe or more they feel like sigh of relief, like, okay, you know, because we're all good at putting off this persona like we have it all together, but we don't. We've all been through the journey. We've all had some bad relationships, some bad business decisions, made some bad decisions as parents, you know, did some things we regret. But I just get a kick out of you talking about Carol, Mike, and it's funny. It's to me, I live laughing at God's humor of putting me on one side of your life and Carol on the other side of Mike Hopkins. It's like the most patient man alive right there. I mean, if you could open up the word in the dictionary and look up the word patience, Mike Hopkins would be right there. The guy is just as calm. Me and Carol, we're like, Mike, what's bothering you? Why are you down today, buddy? Are you okay? Carol's like, why won't you talk to me, Mike? It's fun. Carol's amazing, though. And you're right. She's very transparent. That's why people love her, because Carol is real.
Yeah. She's yelling at me.
But you're real.
I'm not sure what's going on. Another Snapchat.
She's screaming?
Just an update. Yeah, I don't know.
Show us.
Huh?
Show us.
I don't know. Let's see. My phone is really slow.
I used to be terrified to be open and real because I was scared of rejection. That is actually, you're so right. And that's why people are not able to be transparent, because a lot of it came with our childhood and our upbringing. Mike, my hands are white from the cold.
What is it like?
I mean, I endured this.
Is it like?
To me, it feels like winter, you know. But you got to realize, I just came out of like almost 90-degree weather last night. Anyways, what I was saying before we close the show out was Britton's point of sometimes it's scary to be real.
Yeah.
Because then we open up the risk of being rejected. We open up the risk of people thinking less of us. Listen, there are people that can't handle your feelings. They can't. They literally can't process your humanity or your fears or your temptations. All right, Mike, show us the Snapchat. You got a good hunting picture?
Well, it only was up for 4 seconds, but I think that it's much colder where he's hunting than where you're at right now, because he sent me a picture, like a selfie, and he's got like frost on his mustache. So
I love it, dude.
It's 37 degrees.
I flat love it. Well, it's been a great week, Fuel for Success. I've really enjoyed our shows. We're coming in on after episode 200. That'll be on, Wednesday.
Yeah.
200. Dude, we just celebrated 100. We're at 200 now.
200.
Friends, listen, if these shows help you, all we ask is one thing. Send in your $1,000 check. If you want your healing, I'll practice in my TV.
Televangelist.
Yeah, I feel like I would be dominant at it. Like, you look in the screen, right? You touch this screen. No, hey, listen. Friends, thank you for your time. Those that watch live, those that watch later on the archives, thank you. Those that repost this on your Facebooks and Twitters, thank you. Share it, friends. If it's a blessing to you, share it. And give people forewarnings. Hey, these guys are a little crazy, but get past the craziness. They got good stuff they say.
That's right. Sorry.
We love you guys.
Love you all. Have an awesome weekend.
Mike, you're in rare form today. It's good. We should continue the show a few more minutes. You're in rare form. I like it.
Yeah.
Must be enjoying Friday, my friend.
Yeah, one of those days. Hey, actually.
Hey, do go to my website, mattmaddox.com. Mike put a cool deal on Fuel for Success on there. And there's a couple of blurbs from our Fuel for Success. And I think it's even on the Fuel for Success page. fuelforsuccess.tv.
Yeah, look for clips.
And before you... What's that?
Yeah, look for clips. Sometimes we'll take 60 seconds, 90 seconds here and there. We'll make a clip. We'll put it up on the YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? You don't love us? Come on, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then... Subscribe. So, and if you don't know where, go to mattmaddox.com, click on Fuel for Success down at the bottom. There's YouTube, follow me, boom, 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 click, click, click. You're done. Like that. 30 seconds.
Can you end the show in your old man's voice like you did yesterday, Bubba? We all appreciate it.
I don't remember how I did the voice.
You guys,
like almost like an Irish man.
Have a great,
yeah, that's right.
Have a great weekend, and be successful, and we'll see you on Monday.
That was perfect. We love you guys. God bless.
See y'all.